I pre-ordered Ryza on a whim earlier this year because a wheel told me to.
Don't be the horse.
Alright. I had a very vague idea about who the hell she was and what the Atelier series is all about. Fast forward a couple of months from that point and I'd become something of a Ryza fiend, playing through both games and even buying the special edition. I really do try not to buy figures for characters that I have no attachment to, so I went out of my way to make that connection with Ryza to really make the purchase feel justified. But even without all of that, I don't think my opinion on this figure would really change too much. From the outset, her prototype promo pictures were a visual feast, and while I was skeptical of Wonderful Works' quality as a seemingly new manufacturer, I am more than pleased to report that she has turned out as wonderful as expected. This is Wonderful Works' 1/7 scale Ryza Stout from Atelier Ryza 2. In my eyes, the biggest strength of Ryza is her character design, and no, I'm not talking about her thighs. Yet. What I love so much about her are all of the intricate little details in her outfit that provide a never-ending feast for your eyes. Every time I look at her, I notice something new in her outfit, whether it be her 2 fingerless gloves to her numerous item pouches, or that key around her neck. All of those little things are boosted by Ryza's asymmetric design that gives her so much visual variance that she never gets boring to look at. But that's not to say that she is flawless. So, let's talk details. Ryza's face is Ryza, which is all it needs to be. A bad face can break a figure, but she looks exactly like how I imagined she'd turn out, which is a great thing. However, one of the few faults I have with this figure is that the hair looks underdone. Maybe there's some shading in there, but it's so hard to tell either way that there may as well be none at all. Normally just looking at her under room lighting, I feel like it's a little bit lacking. Ryza's torso is by far my favourite part of the figure, given the density of the detailing and the super nice colour accents that define her palette. The sculpting here is impeccable. The way her coat bends and waves so naturally, the bajillion little gold buttons, clips and buckles, it all just comes together in such a satisfying way. Even around her back, there's a lot of great sculpting. You can even see her white shirt poking through the hole in the back of her coat. There's a lot to take in here even before you get to the lovely vibrant shading, both on her yellow coat and blue ribbon, that gives the figure its glorious oomph to look so outstanding. The one nitpick I have for this section is that the gold accents on her sleeves on my figure are messy. I didn't find any other issues with the other gold accents, which there are a lot of, and I didn't even notice this issue until reviewing the footage, so this could just be something that didn't get caught in QC, but it's fairly minor in the grand scheme of things and I'm not too worried about it. Basically everything I've said about her upper body also applies to her waist. You've got great paintwork in the leather looking pouches and super fine detail on her shorts that looks insanely clean for how tiny it is. Not to mention the sculpt work here is crazy good as well. Finally we get down to her iconic plump thighs. Her stocking and thigh belts look almost uncomfortably tight, but hey, that's the appeal, right? But don't let that distract you from the super tiny feather hanging off her left leg, or the now visible giant gold bulldog clip that hangs off her shirt. I hope you're now fully realizing the extent of the small bits and pieces that exist all throughout Ryza's design. It really is fun to take a close look and discover all of her secrets. Her shoes are more of the same quality that you'd expect by now, and it's cool to see that even her toenails are painted on. I did find that there's a pretty noticeable gap where Ryza's foot connects to the base. I'm pretty sure that's as far as it goes, which is a little bit worrying, I must say, since she does have a very slight wobble. I'm not a huge fan on the design of the base by itself, but I appreciate that it is bespoke and fits the character well, as opposed to a bland solid colour base. All of the detail you see there is fully sculpted, so there's a bit of depth to it, and its small size really helps Ryza to not take up too much shelf space, which is a huge plus. Now, with Ryza herself out of the way, I'll quickly touch on her staff, Sparkling Reverie. I've read a few comments here and there of people breaking either the staff or Ryza's hand during assembly, so you'll have to be careful of that. Personally, I had no issues and found the instructions very straightforward. The staff looks cool, it's well sculpted and painted, though not as intricate as the rest of the figure. I adore the blue flag not just for adding more of that accent colour to the composition, but also for the shiny gold stars that call back to Ryza's design as well. Pre-orders through the Gust online shop would have also received Fee as a bonus. I definitely didn't care about Fee when I pre-ordered, but I certainly do now, so I feel a bit empty inside knowing that I'll never own him too. If you like what you've seen here, Ryza's retail price is just under 21,000 yen, which is honestly quite a bit of money to spend despite how much I love this figure. At that price it places her as the second most expensive scale figure I own, which is crazy for something that looks so deceptively simple at first glance. What this Ryza lacks in something like a flashy base or pose, she instead brings with a ton of clean, intricate detailing, and I think fans of Ryza, or just the Atelier series in general, are going to want to get in on this. Really, the only point of hesitation I have is that there are so many upcoming Ryza figures that we're really spoiled for choice, and something better or more to your tastes may very well pop up in the near future. Despite a few shortcomings in a couple of paint applications and that base, I think Wonderful Works has done an excellent job with this figure, and it instills me with confidence to recommend them and pursue their other products, even if they may run a bit expensive. I think it's obvious that I love this figure, and I hope I've explained why. If you've liked this review, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribed for all things anime figures. This has been the Ando Experience, and I'll catch ya in the next one. Bye!